Good morning and welcome to Vince and Dave Live. We talk about $1 million business ideas, and this is the $1 million podcast, $1 million idea podcast. We like to have fun on this podcast, and this is an exciting topic that we're talking about today. We're talking about planning ahead. We're talking about forecasting, planning for sales, planning for infrastructure, planning for operations. And did you have a chance to check out the Top Gun movie?
Oh, yeah, man. It was great.
Did you love it?
Loved it.
You had a great time, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
You had somebody. Twice. There you go. You had some lady chirping in your ear the first time, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, play by play.
Yeah, that was yeah. So you heard it twice.
I did.
So
good to it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I saw Top Gun as well. Had a great time. I love that movie. There were some incredible stunts in that movie, wasn't there?
Oh man, the action,
and Tom Cruise was actually in those jets.
Yeah,
right.
Real
He was awesome.
Apologies.
Do you think that was $1 million idea?
That's brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard that Tom Cruise would not let them release the movie early. It had to be on the big screen.
Because they finished during COVID, right?
Yeah. Why did he do that?
To pull the most, right? The market.
Maximize the profits, right?
Yeah.
It's all about the dollars. Mm-hmm. He said, "Show me the money." You remember that movie? Show me the money. His ambassador Quan, that's what he would say in Jerry Maguire if you're a Tom Cruise. I know. It's, the millennials on the call, they won't see it, but the rest of us know. Show me the money, right?
Right.
We're talking about $1 million ideas. What a smart move by Tom Cruise, not to give in, not to hold it, to hold out, and to get that movie done at the right time.
Right.
How much of our business is about timing?
Most of it.
Most of it, right?
Absolutely.
We got to make great business decisions. How disappointed would he have been had they released that straight to some streaming service?
Yeah.
Oh man, it would have killed the profits. I think that I could be off on the number, but they did something like $165 million in the first weekend.
Record-breaking, right, for him. I think it was his best.
That's like our $1 million idea times 165. And I think that that is so cool. By the way, I'm Dave Wescott, CEO of Evergreen Brands and TransBlue. This is Vince Ortiz, Vice President of Franchise Development. And we are here talking about $1 million ideas. And I just think, you love what happens on the big screen. You love seeing those guys be successful. You love seeing the superstars really make it. But it so ties into what we're doing. And I think I want to just share this, and this is something I talk to, a lot of people about, and it's you hear people use the statement, "We're building the airplane while we're flying it." Mm. In fact, I had an opportunity to do work with a company, doing hundreds of millions of revenue, and they were opening up a new service line, and they needed construction services, and they brought us in the office, and we did the full dog and pony show, and they said, "Hey, we are building the airplane while we're flying it." And I thought to myself, man, that's crazy. And we worked with this company, we partnered with this company, and we watched them lose millions and millions of dollars just in disorganization, bad mistakes, hiring issues, just internally, right?
Right.
They had so much money that they eventually got it right. And I won't name the company on the call, but flying the airplane while you're building it, they couldn't have done that in Tom Cruise movie, could they?
Not at all. It's just a bad strategy,
It would have been like Goose, right?
Gone.
Yeah. Washout, right?
Yeah.
You cannot fly those jets while you're building them. You're testing them, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like our business. What we want to do is we want to plan ahead. We want to be so focused on the future. As a business owner, you cannot be focused on where the pain is today. So easy as business owners, it's easy to get caught up in everything that's going wrong in your business right now.
Right.
And if you live there, and if that's where you spend your time, you'll be like Maverick and Goose when they wash out, right? And somebody might die. Right. You never know what's going to happen.
It's painful, regardless.
It is. So Vince, business owner, he ran his own business, ran his own franchise. We're going to talk a little bit about forecasting Vince, can you just share with us when you got into your franchise, when you started building, what did you do for sales? What did you plan? How did you plan for sales? Or did you just say, I hope we're going to make it? And
No, not at all. Well, if anything we know about each other is that we're planners, right? We're looking ahead all the time.
Always.
Our existing business as it is as well. And I think just to highlight something you said, Dave, is if you go into business and with expectations of the things being perfect and smooth, not a good plan. Not a good expectation, I should say.
It's going to get a little bit bumpy.
Yeah, it's going to get a little bumpy, just like those G's, right?
That's right. That's right.
G's.
That's right.
It's for the business. I read a book. I'm going to plug a book, Dave.
Cool. Do it.
I'm going to plug the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Matter of fact, he came out with a new version that I've been talking about, and it has to do with something we talked about the other day. E-Myth for contractors.
Right.
And it had to do with something we talked about the other day. As an owner, really kick yourself out of your business. But to summarize what this says is be an owner that works on your business versus in your business.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you got a plan. To work on your business, you have to take that time and create that space for yourself to create that plan. Not like you said, not about now and trying to create solutions for pains now, but you're thinking ahead. Seasonal changes, things with the economy. You're thinking ahead down the road and you're planning for that.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you plan day one? What looked like your business? What were you planning for?
Well, the first thing I wanted to do was you do make that. I can't emphasize enough. You need to make that time for yourself.
Yep. Time for yourself.
So
you set time apart for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of in a quiet room. You not disturb wife, kids.
Yeah, you use Sundays, right?
Absolutely.
Sundays
my day. Yep.
Yeah.
And you make that time and you reflect back on the past. You reflect what's going on now. You reflect because you're learning from the past.
Yep.
Right. You should be able to learn from those mistakes, learn from those issues that you might have had, and implement some change or think through that process. And in the current process, and even more importantly, I think you're planning for that future.
Right.
Right. In our business, you've implemented things like seasonal, for example, services.
Yeah.
We're planning those things months before they actually hit. So you're talking about sales focuses, revenue focuses, profits, and so forth.
One thing we're working on right now, I'll just share with you on the call, is we have a weekly meeting and we focus on the 10-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that we're doing is we're planning 10 years out. Right? That might sound crazy, but everything about those meetings is what does 10 years look like? What does 10 years look like? What does 10 years look like? What is that goal? And then how do we work backwards from that goal?
Yep.
Because we got to know where we're going. We got to know what's happening. We also use EOS, right? There's a plug for EOS, for all the EOSers out there. We'd like that because we build the business 90 days at a time. We set goals in 90-day segmentations so that we know where we're going. And those goals tie into a end of the year goal, but we're also looking at a 3-year goal, and we've got a 10-year goal on that.
Mm-hmm.
So within our system, we're looking at it by quarter, we're looking at it by end of year, then we're looking at 3 years and 10 years. So we're really looking into the future, and we're really focusing on what's happening now. What's happening in your business now, the pain that you feel in your business, the stress that you feel in your business, whatever it might be, that's already done.
Right.
You can't do a lot to change that. Right? You can work on the circumstances, you can make things better, you can solve problems, but you've got to get out of that rhythm and really focus on the future to have that $1 million business. That's really what it is. And one of the things that we talk about, is we're planning for sales. So when we look at sales, we forecast all of our sales numbers a year in advance, right?
Right.
And why would that be important as for a guy in sales? What does that do for you as in sales?
Well, I take a step further back. I'm setting, based on that strategy we create. You touched on reverse engineering. So from that, then you set your milestones, your deadlines, right? You're being realistic about your time and what's real to be able to come up with those numbers, those targets, right? And then you put the plan together based on that.
Yeah.
You know, so for sales, you know, you're looking at certain things that we talked about in the past. Know your clients, know your customers. Focus on those type of clients and customers, and then you're kind of working the plan based on that.
Yeah.
You know, and like we touched on even seasonal, you know, being able to kind of focus on those winter months on different kinds of seasonal services, right? So it changes and it evolves. If you're not thinking about those things, let's say winter services today, for example, then you're reacting to things at the time it comes.
It also gives you the ability to make changes.
Yeah.
If something's not working, you can make a change. You're nimble, right? That's one of our core values, be nimble. But we're nimble enough to make an adjustment to the sales process to get us back on board. If we have a bad month or a bad quarter, we can actually look back at that, reflect, and we can see where we need to make up the difference or the traction to hit our end number.
Right.
Right? It's not the end of the day.
Right. You bring a great point, Dave. It's too many times you focus on creating plans and documents and business plans and, you know, all these things that go into it, and then it gets put away.
Yeah.
You know, you don't treat it as a process, as a living process. You know, that you're evolving and you're changing and tweaking based on what happens. You might lose your GM in your business, then you got to adjust and tweak, right? So these things are real life circumstances, but you got to treat it as a process, not a document. Meaning that you got to revisit it all the time. You got to have something in place on a consistent basis to tweak, adjust as you need it. You know, you and I we've experienced some guys, you know, where they may spend thousands of dollars using a planner to create a business plan, but then it goes in a drawer.
Right.
You know, and
you got to live that business plan every day.
Right. You got to work it.
And you got to make changes to it. It's a living, breathing document. You know, it's interesting because so many times in business, you know, people think, oh man, it's always changing. This changing environment drives me crazy. Oh man. But if you don't change, you die.
Yeah.
Right? You die.
Yeah.
There is no $1 million idea if you're not constantly changing. The way the business looks is going to change every week, every month. You have to be nimble and flexible to be able to change with what the business needs to be able to drive that success. And I think that's one of the important things. So we've talked about sales. Forecast your numbers. Work to hit those numbers and be nimble and flexible to change the plan if it's not working. Mm-hmm. Build your business 90 days at a time. Another plug for EOS. If you want a great operating system to build off of, start there. Get with EOS and, you know, pick up the E-Myth, right? Learn. Always be learning, right? Now let's talk about we got the sales.
Yeah.
So many companies are like, oh man, I don't want to invest in infrastructure. I don't want to invest in people. I don't want to have all that extra payroll. But the truth about it is that all businesses close work on some level. Mm-hmm. And what happens is, and the reason why we have things like Yelp and Google reviews and all of these review sites is what? So that people can voice their opinion and share really about the bad job that they had done. Mm-hmm. Right? Everybody who has a bad job, or the majority of people who have a bad job, are going to leave a bad review.
It's where we're living.
People who have a great job are a lot less likely to leave you the review. Right? Even if it's an amazing experience, they just don't take the time to do it.
Right.
So, but why does that happen? Why is that? Where did it go wrong? And I think they plan for they do not plan properly for infrastructure. Mm-hmm. And one thing I learned years and years ago was I could win or I could sell all the work in the world. But if I didn't already have the infrastructure and team in place, then I would fail at the initiative.
Right.
Meaning I could go out today and sell work and I've got a team that's already built, already in place that can absorb the work. When you win the work and then you've got to hire the people to be able to execute the work, they don't know your culture, they don't know your business, they don't deliver an incredible customer experience. And when they don't deliver an incredible customer experience, your customer feels like you failed them, they're unhappy, they write negative reviews about your business, those negative reviews hurt your business, can put you out of business, and you feel like a failure. And on a lot of levels, you are a failure.
Yeah.
And all of that had to do with planning for infrastructure. So the beautiful thing about what we just talked about is when you go out into the market and you say, this is what I want to sell, this is where I'm at, this is my sales target, you build that infrastructure team immediately. You train them, you coach them, you mentor them. That way when the work comes on board, you can execute it.
Right.
By doing that, you grow your business.
Absolutely. And I think you touched on something that is so key, thinking back on my business experience, is that you hear that tagline, customer is king.
Yeah.
Right. And for your employees, your people, that's what they're striving for, great level of customer service, repetitive business, all those things that go with that, profitability.
Yeah.
But what happens is, as an owner, if you're a technician, if you're working in your business, you're spending those 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, working in your business, then, focusing on that, on returning things to the client and so forth, what happens is that you're focusing on the wrong thing. As an owner, you got to focus on build your team. Right. What you're talking about,
right?
Working on your business, you would get more out of your business if you focus on training your team the right way. Building them up, and it has a lot to do with just again what things that we've been describing.
Absolutely, you hit it right on the head. You nailed it, man. I mean, it's so true. And I love some of the notes because we cheat. We have notes. We know what we're going to talk about. But
planning.
Yeah, we plan. So just if you're taking notes and you're following along. One of the things I think is important, that Vince touched on is review the past, understand where you are currently, plan for the future, right? Mm-hmm. Know your numbers, man. Know your numbers inside and out. That's your Bible. That's your business Bible is your numbers, right? Your P&L, your balance sheet, your margins, all of that. Set realistic milestones and deadlines and attach KPIs. You want those KPIs there so that you know where you're off or on the goals that you're setting, right? And set them for sales and set them for operations.
Right. Good point.
And then I love what you wrote here, which was treat planning as a process, not a document.
Right.
That's absolutely fire.
Yeah.
If you're writing that down, just make a little fire note next to it, a little emoji next to it, because that's fire right there. But that's the truth about it. Bottom line, you're working on your business, not in your business. Plan for your sales, plan for your infrastructure, put all of those things in place, and do not build the airplane and fly it at the same time.
Perfect. Yeah.
What do you think, Vince?
Love it. Envision that success.
Envision that success.
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom before you leave for the weekend?
No, hey, watch Top Gun. Yeah, already.
Watch Top Gun, check it out, and when you do that, think about TransBlue. Listen, we're Dave and Vince Live. These are $1 million ideas. You want to build $1 million business, focus on the things that we've talked about. And we are also in the franchising business, so if you're interested in learning more about taking a business opportunity to the next level, reach out to Vince. He's the man. Other than that, we'll see you in 2 weeks, same bat time, same bat channel.
Perfect.